In this installment of my makeup declutter, I'm going to take you through my Chic collection, and the blushes, highlighters, and bronzers in my collection are essentially the trifecta of my guilty pleasures for makeup buying. I love buying Chic products, so I found this category to be extremely difficult in purging anything from. My goal for this category is to reduce the number of Chic products that I have by 25%. So if you want to see what I let go of, then keep watching. This is my collection of bronzers and highlighters, and they are all really beautiful and nice in their own way, otherwise they wouldn't be here. But the truth is I only use a handful of these, so I'm gonna try to do my best to cut this down a little bit. I don't think I've used this since my last declutter. It's from Marcelle. It is kind of like a bronzing quad, and this is a really great natural looking bronzer, but I just don't reach for it, so I'm gonna say goodbye to this one. The Chanel Les Beige powder, this was limited edition, and I forgot about this one, so I like this powder a lot, and I'm gonna bust this out right now because it's a really great powder. Chanel Bronze Universal, I love this product. It is definitely more of a summer product for me, and surprisingly, it still is good to use. It hasn't turned weird. It still applies beautifully, so I'm gonna use this a lot this summer, and hopefully I can use it up because I've had this for years and I just want to get rid of it, even though I do love it. A contour stick from Sonia Kashuk. I still actually use this. It is really nice. It's very creamy. It blends beautifully, and it just gives my skin a really natural looking contour. I love using this again in the spring and summer, so I'll keep this one. The only other contour product that I own is from Kevyn Aucoin. It's the sculpting powder in medium, and I absolutely love this. I definitely would not get rid of this. Another bronzer that I've kind of forgotten about is the Nude Air in number 02 Sunset, I think. I'm actually not sure on the name, but it's the Dior Nude Air Nude Skin, don't quite remember, but it is a beautiful bronzer. I forgot how nice this is on the cheeks. It works because it is almost like a bronzer and a blush, so I'm gonna bust this back out again. I am going to say goodbye to all three of these Maybelline Master Hi-Lite Face Studio palettes because I just have not reached for them. They're great powders. I rarely reach for them. So one is a highlighting blush. Actually, these two are highlighting blushes. This one is a highlighting bronzer. And although they look beautiful on the skin, it's just not something that I reach for. And I haven't touched these since my last declutter, so I'm gonna say goodbye to these. Same goes for this MARC Face Compact. Beautiful powders, but just don't reach for it. I hate to see this go because it's discontinued, but this is the Benefit 10 box powder, and while I like this powder, I actually prefer the bronzer over the highlight side, mainly because my skin tone just doesn't quite work with a light pink highlight. I'm gonna say goodbye to this because again, I rarely reach for it. Still loving the NARS Laguna bronzer, and I am almost done this. I have been trying to use this up, although it is taking me forever, but I'm gonna keep this up because I'm determined to use this entire bronzer up. I am still loving the Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. This is in medium deep, and it's just a really great matte bronzer. Still smells amazing, still applies beautifully. I am desperate to pick up the other shade in the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer. This one is in Radiant Light, so it's a deeper shade of the two, but I am dying to get my hands on Luminous Bronze Light, but I just can't justify it because I have all these other bronzers. But this is a really great bronzer. It's probably my favorite bronzer formulation because it's just so smooth and buttery, and it gives your skin a beautiful glow because it has a bit of a shimmer to it, but it doesn't look sparkly. I love this bronzer and I would recommend it. I'm torn about whether I should keep the Hoola bronzer because the last Hoola bronzer I owned, it took me literally years to use up. So I repurchased this because I actually decluttered this 2 years ago. A couple weeks later, after I had already given it to a friend, I regretted it. So I was lucky enough to find one at Shoppers that still was in the old packaging, because the old packaging has a bit more product, but I haven't used this in a while, and I feel like I don't really need 10 or 11 grams of this product. So I'm thinking I'll declutter this, and if I want this again, I'm gonna just pick up the travel size because it is about half the size of this, and that's really all I need because this is a lot of bronzer for one person. This is a nice bronzer. This is from Smashbox. It's the Hint of Bronze. I am not sure if they still have this in their collection, but it just gives your skin a beautiful, like, nice glow, bronze look to it. Has a bit of a sheen to it, but still nice on the skin. So I'm going to use this a couple of times and see what I think about it, but I might get rid of this one, not sure yet. Liquid illuminators. I love using liquid illuminators for a dewy skin look. One is from Becca. This is still the same shimmering skin perfector that I had years ago. It actually is surprisingly still good. It doesn't smell funky and it still applies beautifully. This is a new one from NYX. It's the Born to Glow liquid illuminator in pure gold. And I gotta say, between the two, I prefer the Becca formulation. I'm gonna say goodbye to the Revlon Skin Lights though. I used to really love this. Even before they discontinued it and brought it back, I was obsessed with this, and I do really like it. It's a really great formula, but I just rarely reach for this. I much prefer the formulation of the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector, but this is a really great alternative too. If you want like a really beautiful dewy look to your skin, this is a way to go. I don't reach for this Stila All Shimmer Duo very often, but it's still really pretty. I love especially this kind of champagne shade here. It looks so nice on the skin. Between the two, that's the one that I actually use. I'm not a huge fan of the pale pink shade, but it's still a beautiful powder, so I'll keep this one for now. The Dior Amber Diamond. I love this highlighter. I still do, even though I've totally destroyed the packaging. I've actually never traveled with this, so how does this even happen? I have never even dropped this compact, but this is a great highlighter. I still absolutely love it. It still applies beautifully, and it just gives your skin this gorgeous natural sheen. It's not too sparkly or glittery. Josie Maran, the Enlightenment Illuminzing Veil. I think I got this as like a Sephora reward perk, and I do like this, so I will keep this. I've actually been using it more as an eyeshadow highlight rather than on the skin, but it is nice. I am, however, going to say goodbye to the Balm Mary Luminizer. I have not reached for this in the longest time, and the main reason is because I discovered this one. So this is the Laura Mercier Matte Radiance Baked Powder in Highlight 01, and they actually have a very similar finish and look on the skin, but I do prefer the Laura Mercier one because it just looks a little bit more natural on my skin. So this is them kind of side by side, if you can see that. The first one is the Mary Luminizer, and then this one is the Laura Mercier. They both catch the light beautifully. The Luminizer is a little bit more gold and reflects a little bit more light, but I do prefer a more natural highlight most of the time, so I'm going to stick with the Laura Mercier. Of course, a highlighter collection would not be a highlighter collection without at least one Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector. So technically I own 4. I own 2 in the Jaclyn Hill palette and then these 2. I used to own an individual of Champagne Pop, but I actually gave that I used to own an individual of Champagne Pop, but I gave that away when I got the palette because I didn't need 2 Champagne Pops. So instead I picked up Opal, which is this beautiful kind of warm beigey highlight with a bit of a gold shimmer to it. And then the other one is the Rose Gold, which I still absolutely love. So these are the 2 swatched. Rose Gold, so it has a bit of a pinky hue to it. And then this one is Opal. So I'm going to keep both of these because I do like the shades and I do like the formulation. I'm also keeping this newcomer, which is the Victoria Beckham and Estee Lauder highlighter in Modern Mercury. I have been on the hunt for this ever since it came out and I missed out and it was relaunched in this collection, but it's a great powder. It definitely does not disappoint color-wise. I will say it is very similar to the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Rose Gold. Here they are side by side. On the swatch, it's quite noticeable, the difference. Modern Mercury here is a little bit more pink and this one is a little bit warmer, but literally on the skin, you can't really notice the difference, especially on my skin tone, but I'm gonna keep both of them because I like both of them and this is just like the holy grail of highlighters for me. I just love it so much. This is a Slim Light from Becca. I do not believe they make this anymore. I think it was a limited edition, but it's basically a stick cream highlighter. And I like this because it's so easy to apply. It's in the shade Topaz, so it is quite warm on the skin. These apply so nicely. I would not have paid the original price tag for this though. I got this on sale for about 17 bucks. I think the original price was close to 40, which is nuts to me. There is something enticing about the Maybelline Master Glaze. This is a cream product and it's supposed to be a blush, but it's definitely more of a highlight shade. It's very warm, it's very neutral, it blends really nicely. So this is a nice alternative to the Slim Lights from Becca. It just looks really nice on the skin, so I'll keep both of these. I definitely didn't do a great job decluttering my highlighters and bronzers, but this is the last one. The Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Luminous Light. This is a beautiful, natural looking highlight. It just gives your skin a really nice glow. It just reflects light very beautifully. I've had a change of heart for the Smashbox Hint of Bronze. I am going to say goodbye to this, mainly just because I was looking at all my other bronzers and it doesn't really set itself apart from my other ones, so I'm gonna say goodbye to it. My blush collection has not changed too much since my last declutter, at least I think so. I have picked up a couple of new blushes, but for the most part, I have been doing pretty well in the blush area, meaning I haven't been picking up too many things, and I've been going in a one in, one out policy, or at least trying to. So without further ado, let's go through this collection. This one is fairly new. It's the NYX Ombre Blush, and I got this as a press sample, so it's in number 5, Sweet Spring. I'm gonna keep this one because I have just gotten it, so I haven't really played with it enough to say whether I love it or I don't love it. I have already tried this a few times and it just looks really nice on the skin. Obviously it looks better on the skin than it does swatch, but it does give your skin like a really beautiful natural kind of flush. I'm going to say goodbye to these Revlon Photo Ready Cream Blushes, mainly because I haven't used them since my last declutter, so I'm probably not going to. I have a blush similar to this that I much prefer. It is the Bourjois Cream Blush in number 2. It is much lighter, but that's what I like about it. It's a little bit more natural on the skin. So this one is called Coral Reef, and this one is in Pinched, but I don't really reach for these, so I'm going to say goodbye to them. I'm going to keep this other cream blush from Bourjois. It is in number 3, and this one is more of a pink, and again, really nice on the skin. 2 Bourjois products that I'm not going to be keeping are these blush pots. One is Rose d'Or and the other one is Rose de Jaspe. The only reason I'm not going to keep these is because I actually just don't reach for them. I haven't reached for them since my last declutter. I don't know, I just haven't reached for them. So it makes me think that I probably won't be reaching for them anytime soon. So I'm just gonna say goodbye to these ones. I'm also going to say goodbye to this Physicians Formula blush in, I don't remember what the shade is called. It's from their Nude Wear collection again, and I just don't ever reach for this. I think it's just because the packaging is also kind of bulky, so I have to store it in a separate place than my other blushes, so I just rarely reach for it, and I've only now just discovered that there's actually a brush underneath, so it's kind of awkward, but this one's going in my goodbye pile. For some reason, I have a bunch of these mini NARS blushes, and I freaking love these little cute packaging. They're the same size as an eyeshadow, but these are actually blushes. I am only going to keep one of these. I'm going to keep this one here, which is Gulu. This was a VIB Rouge gift. The other two, one is NARS Super Orgasm, looks like this, and the other one is just regular NARS Orgasm, looks like this. I actually might keep NARS Orgasm, but Super Orgasm I'm definitely going to say goodbye to. I technically have both in this palette here, but I really like having this little single of NARS Orgasm because I just throw it in my purse, and whenever I need a little bit of blush, this is just really easy to apply. Going to say goodbye to the Tarte Tipsy, and I just rarely reach for this blush nowadays. It is still a really great blush. It's a beautiful like coral shade. I just don't reach for it, so I'm gonna say goodbye to it. Still absolutely obsessed with this Giorgio Armani blush in Eccentrico. It's a gorgeous bright fuchsia, and I can't wait to wear this again. I usually reserve this for the summertime because this color just looks a little bit drab on the skin in the dull gray weather, but when it's sunny and bright and when you actually blend this out properly, it actually looks so great on the cheek. It gives your skin a beautiful, like just came out of the cold look, but in the summertime. After swatching the NARS blushes on my hands, I have decided I am going to say goodbye to NARS Torrid, which looks like this. It is very similar to NARS Orgasm, but this has maybe a little bit more of a peachy look to it and a bit more shimmer. So I'm gonna say goodbye to this, not because I don't necessarily love the color, it's this one here. I just don't reach for it that often anymore. I am also a bit torn about the blush Deep Throat, and I used to really, really love this blush. It's such a great blush, but I just rarely wear it nowadays. So I think I'm just gonna say goodbye to it. I can always repurchase it if I change my mind, but for now, it's not really a blush that I gravitate towards anymore, so I'm gonna say goodbye to this one too. I might have forgotten to mention, but the three NARS blushes that I will be keeping is NARS Luster, beautiful, gorgeous, shimmery apricot. The shimmer in this I don't find to be too shimmery, it's just adds a really nice sheen. NARS Dolce Vita, which is very pretty, and then also Taj Mahal, which is a great summer shade. Okay, I'm trying to decide between these three blushes. So this one is the Illamasqua blush in Naked Rose. They don't actually carry Illamasqua in Canada anymore. This one is Cargo Tonga, and then this is Cargo in Mendocino. I am going to say goodbye to Cargo Mendocino. Again, it has a bit of a gold shimmer running through it, and it's not an ugly shimmer. It actually is very pretty, but I'm kind of straying away from shimmery blushes these days. So this one I am going to say goodbye to. The other two I thought would be really similar, but they're actually quite different on the skin. So this one is Tonga, and then this is Naked Rose. So Tonga is very similar to maybe like not a Tarte Expose, but maybe a MAC Blush Baby, maybe a lighter version of that. And then Naked Rose is definitely a bit more of a mauvey pink. So I'm gonna keep both of these. I thought they'd actually be really similar, but they're actually quite different on. I'm going to keep all four of these blushes. This is the Dior Rosy Glow Healthy Glow Awakening Blush. I really like this packaging, leaves much to be desired. Gorgeous packaging, but I don't know how I break the hinges off of these. Again, this is another product that I might depalette, but I really like this blush. It actually looks gorgeous on. The swatch definitely does not do it justice. It's this one here, but it looks much better on the cheeks. Becca Luminous Blush in Camellia. This is the only blush I have. Actually, I have one in the Jaclyn Hill palette, but this is the only individual blush I have from this collection of blushes from Becca, and it's so pretty. I actually wore this and also NARS Orgasm on my wedding day, and it just looks so beautiful. It gave my skin a really beautiful glow. This is the Clinique Precious Posy Blushing Blush Powder Blush. Very odd name, but I still absolutely love this product. It's very similar to NARS Orgasm, but I think this is a little bit peachier. Really nice formulation though, looks really nice on the skin. And of course this limited edition Chanel Blush Horizon, which is a beautiful kind of light pink shade. Definitely gonna keep this one. It just looks really nice on the skin. I'm gonna put this kind of front and center because I tend to forget about it. I know these blushes look so similar, but they all give you a really pretty finish. So we have 3 Burberry blushes here, which are beautiful. Blossom, Cameo, and Tangerine. I'm gonna keep all 3 of these. This is how they look on. Definitely better on the cheek. Blossom, Cameo, Tangerine. They just are really beautiful, natural looking blushes. The other 2 are from Clinique. So one is in Ginger Pop and the other one is in Fig Pop. I believe this one is ginger and this one is fig. So this one is a little bit deeper, more of a rosy color. This one is a bit more on the peachy pink side. But again, these blushes are really nice. They're a really great formulation. They last all day long, and I'm gonna keep both of these too. Rose Radiance from Bare Minerals. This is a beautiful mineral blush. I don't think it gets enough hype because it's just such a really great natural looking finish. The powder on this is so well done. It blends beautifully. It looks so natural on the skin. I'm going to say goodbye to these 2 cream products though, because again, haven't used it since my last declutter. This one is really pink. It's very bubblegum pink. Although the formulation is really nice, I can't wear it. I look really off. This one is much more wearable for me. It's more of a berry shade, but I just never reach for it, although it's a gorgeous color. The Bite Beauty Multi-Stick in Mascarpone is definitely my most favorite cream blush, although it's not really marketed as a cream blush. It's more of a all over the face kind of product. You can use it on your eyes, lips, and cheeks, but I much prefer this on my cheeks. But it blends beautifully and it's just a great kind of dusty rose color. I only have a few blushes left here. These 2 are such similar palettes. You can always tell what kind of blushes I gravitate towards. This is from Shu Uemura. It is a palette that I put together. The other one is from Muji. Rarely use it, mainly because I have all these other blushes, but I love the fact that I picked this up in Japan and it kind of has sentimental value, but I rarely use it, so I'm just gonna say goodbye to this one. This one I will keep because I do use these shades often. I mainly use this in the summertime because I feel like these are summertime blushes, but I love the formulation of these Shu blushes. I really like the Dior formulation. I'm so sad that they discontinued this because it actually was a really great blush formulation. And I do love the color. It is the Dior blush in Pink in Love. So I'll keep this one because I can't get it again. I actually really do like this. I love all 5 of these blushes. They are all great colors. They're a great formulation. These are the Laura Mercier Second Skin blushes. One is in Lotus Pink. So obviously the pink one. And then the other one is in Lush Nectarine, which is kind of an orangey peach. But these are such great blushes and formulation, so I'll keep these. And then obviously the Hourglass Ambient Lighting blushes. I love all 3 of these. Mood Exposure is definitely my favorite, along with the Radiant Magenta. I really like Diffused Heat, but as to whether or not I need this one in my collection is a toss-up. I do really like the formula, but again, all of these blushes just look so similar. I'm gonna keep this one for now and revisit it later on. I think I did pretty well in this category considering it's my favorite one of the bunch. I managed to declutter about 31% of the products that I have, and I have only picked up one new thing in this category since this declutter. First of all, I'm going to show you what I did with all of the broken Dior packaging that I had. I depotted everything into this MAC palette. Might look a little familiar. Here we have the NARS Dan Marie palette, which kind of broke my heart a little bit to depot, but I love it in this palette. And then these three are the Dior, so the Dior Amber Diamond, the Healthy Glow blush, and then also this discontinued blush. I actually find that I use it more, plus it's a lot more friendly to travel with. The one product that I did purchase is this highlighter from NARS. It was limited edition and I just couldn't resist, and I've been using it for the last couple of weeks and I've been loving it. However, because I have this one in, one out rule, I've decided to get rid of a product, and this is the product, shockingly, that I am going to be saying goodbye to. It is the Becca Jaclyn Hill collab. I absolutely love this palette, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I do have similar highlighters to this and also similar blush shades, so I really didn't need it, especially after I picked up this one. I really couldn't justify having both. Anyway, don't forget to check out the updated decluttering videos that I have. So I have one for base, for eyes, and for lips. I hope you guys are enjoying round 2 of my makeup declutter, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!